Hi there and welcome. In this training video, we will be going over EMACS command. If you want to know more about editors like EMACS, such as Vim, you can check my previous video where I talked about the Vim commands. But in this video, we will be going over EMACS. So without much ado, let's open up our terminal with Ctrl-Alt-T. With your terminal open, the next step for you to open up EMACS is to type the command EMACS on your terminal. Enter. And this is EMACS. So let's go back to our test. In the first section here, we'll be talking about opening and closing file. To open or create a file, what you need to do is Ctrl X and Ctrl F. But before we proceed, let me run you through the legend. Anywhere you see C dash, this C dash, it means you need to hold down the control button for the next stroke. And anywhere you see M dash, it means you need to hold down the alternate key button on your keyboard for the next stroke, or you press escape key once. Also, when you are executing a command, watch the bottom of your EMACS window, this area. The last line of text below the highlighted line is very informative. It is called the mini buffer, so keep that in mind. This area is called your mini buffer, and as the text says, keep that in mind. So let's run this first command. Ctrl X, Ctrl F. This helps us in opening a new file or opening a file that we have already. So now let's act like we don't have any file. So let's open a new one. And what you do is you press Ctrl F and Ctrl X. So watch the bottom of my EMACS screen here, just right here. Just watch here and see what happens. Ctrl X, Ctrl F. Can you see? It's saying find file. But since I don't have any file to find, I can create a new file here. So I just input any name I like. So I could say learn emacs.txt. Enter. And as you can see, we've just created a new file in EMACS. How wonderful is that? Now, let's type some text. My name is Precious and I am a software engineer. Remember, when you work with test file, what would you like to do? You would like to save, right? So to save, we use the next command, Ctrl X and Ctrl S. Always look at the bottom to see that your commands are being imputed or they are. So we're back. My name is Precious and I am a software engineer. To save the active file, all you need to do is Ctrl X and Ctrl S. So let's do that. Look at the bottom of the screen here and see the command responding. Ctrl X and Ctrl S. And what does it say? It says wrote. Wrote means it has been saved. So that is how you save your file. So imagine you have other EMACS window or you've been doing a lot. So maybe I keep on typing and I said, okay, I live in Lagos, Nigeria. I could also save all using the third command here, which says Ctrl X and S. How do you do that? Ctrl S and S. You see? Save file to this. Then it's asking me yes, no. So all I need to do is just to click on Y and the file has been saved again. So you can decide on which of the save you want to use because both of them practically do almost the same thing. How about saving it as a new file? So imagine that you've been working with this document, then you realize that you would like to, work on another document but related to this. You could save this one as a new file like what you do in Word documents. And how do you do that? Ctrl X and Ctrl W. Let's do that now. Ctrl X and Ctrl W. So it's now asking you for a new name for this file because remember, we are saving it as. So let's call this learn emacs2.txt. As you can see, the name of the file has changed, and it's telling you also that it has also saved it to learn emacs2.txt. So the next thing you need to know is exit. But before I go to exit, you may have noticed sometimes, just look at the bottom of the screen while I'm typing. You could input some commands, and all of a sudden you don't know what else to do. So what do you do is you just use Ctrl G to clear this mini buffer. Ctrl G, and as you can see, it says quit. It's not quitting Emacs, it's quitting the last command that you made. Let's do it again. Let me make a command, but obviously it's an error. You use Ctrl G to quit. Sorry about this window always popping up. So Ctrl G to quit. When you make, see, I have a command that's, this command has what it does, but I just want to be clear about this. So let's say you make some wrong commands. Let's say I have escape twice, and I'm also having Ctrl S. You see, it's undefined. To clear everything you have on the mini buffer, you use Ctrl G. And the last thing you need to learn here is, after you saved your file and you have nothing else to do with Emacs, you can exit or quit the program using CX CC. That is Ctrl X and Ctrl C. So let's do that again. Ctrl X and Ctrl C. And it's asking you to save the file before you leave. So yes, and that is it. Emacs is gone. So I want to open a file I have with a lot of tests that we would use in doing the other section, which is editing. So I'll CD to that section now, to that folder. If you watched my previous video on shell commands, you would remember the Zebra folder I was using. So I'm going to open that now. And now we're in the Zebra folder. I'm going to open the Learn folder. And inside of the Learn folder, I think I have some documents here, yes. So we would be using this lorem test. So let me clear the terminal. So if you know your file, you are in the folder where the file is, you can open Emacs with the file directly. So Emacs lorem.txt. Because I know that this file is already in this folder. So Emacs can open it directly. And let's see what is inside. Just as the name says, the test contains a lot of gibberish called lorem ipsum. So this is everything that is contained in this document, a lorem ipsum test. So there's a lot of it. I have done it previously so that we would be able to use it to learn the editing and the moving about section of Emacs. So let's go about it. The first thing you need to learn here is delete. So to delete, let's start from here. Let's put the cursor right here. You could use backspace. As you can see, I'm doing that already. You can use backspace to delete. You can also press the delete button, which deletes to the right. Delete button does deleting to the right, while backspace deletes to the left. Also, you can use Ctrl D. So Ctrl D will delete on where the cursor is currently. Ctrl D is going to delete this T. Let's try it. You see that? Delete the U. So Ctrl D deletes where the cursor is currently. So let's see if we could bring it back. And that brings us to undo. So you could be making some changes on your file and maybe you deleted something you're not supposed to delete. To bring it back, you say, or you press Ctrl S and U. As you can see, our T is back. Let's do it again. Ctrl S and U. Can you see that? Also, if you look at the bottom, it's telling you what you've done. Undo. That is the command. Control S and U. Now, something else I want you to note. You can mark a region, that is, you can highlight. But before I highlight, so that you can understand what is happening, let me type some text in front of Lerum. Let me use EMACS in capital letter dash, and let me put EMACS here so that you can see what happens, because currently all the tests look alike. Now, you see this one is different from this, so we are working with this last paragraph. Now I want to highlight from the beginning. I'm going to say control space. You see? Let's do that again. Control space. Mark activated. When your mark is activated, you can now use your arrow key to select. Though it's not so visible, but I'm highlighting this text already. And you will see what I'm going to do with it now. So to highlight or to create a mark, you use your control space. So I've highlighted everything here. The next thing I can do now is I can cut. And how do you cut? You use Control W. Can you see that the text is gone? Now, let's paste it. To paste or yank, you use Control Y. See? Remember, I used EMACS to demarcate it. So you can see that it's the same text I copied. It's the same text I'm pasting in again. And I'm pasting it again because it's still in memory. You see, the second time, I'll do it again the third time, Control Y. So you see, I've been able to copy a text, and I've been highlight a text using Control space, cut it using Control W, and paste it using Control Y. The next thing we need to learn is cut next word. So, like I told you from here, M here means alternate. It means you press alternate down, then you press D, alternate D, or you use escape D. So any one you want, you can use that. So to use alternate, you have to press it down. Alternate D to delete. To delete previous word, that is word from the left hand side. Let's try that again. Let me put it on Ahmet. Alternate delete. Or let's try escape D. You can see that escape D, escape D, escape D, escape. Lectors is gone. Oh, sorry, it's the next word. So you use it to delete the word from the right hand side. So if you press it, AC should go. So let's remove AC. Akumsan should go. Convalid should go. I'm using alternate D or escape and D. Consequent should go. Next should go. Now to do it to the back, to delete the previous word, that is ame, you use alternate backspace. Ame is gone. Now we're deleting seats. Dollar should go. Ipsum should go. And to delete lorem, you can also do escape and backspace. And that is that on removing previous word and next word. Also, you can delete a line. And let me do that here. So let me type some gibberish here, which is going to be a line, a complete line. Let me drop to another line. So I want you to see what happens. More gibberish and more gibberish. With Control K only deletes a line at a time. Just a line. Let's do it. Control K. Can you see the line is gone? To delete the next line, I do another Control K. So Control K deletes your line, and you can also paste it back. So when it deletes, it's actually cutting it to memory, and you can always paste it anywhere you want, if you want to, or you leave it as it is. So let's try it one more time. You put your cursor there, and you say Control K, and it deletes the text or the line, the entire line. Now to search, forward search, you use Control S. So let's say Control S, and I want to search for massa. You see, it has highlighted all the massa, but we are currently on the first massa. To go to the next massa, all you need to do again is to press Control S, Control S, Control S, Control S, Control S. So it keeps going to everything, to that massa, every occurrence of massa in the document, it keeps trying to highlight them. And you can change it if you want, or even delete. Delete to go back. Now, the next one is backward search. So it's the opposite of forward search. So let's do Control G because we don't know what we've typed in. So Control G takes us back. Now, for backward search, let's say I want to search for every occurrence of sit. Yeah, let me use sit. So sit backward. You say Control R and you put in the word you want to search for. As you can see, the search is going backward. See the next sit. So if I say Control R, you see that it's going in reverse now. Control R, Control R, Control R. That is that on search. The next section is moving about, how to navigate. If you have noticed, I keep using my mouse to move the cursor around by clicking. But as a good developer, you shouldn't be doing that. Instead, you should be able to do all that using your keyboard. So the first thing you need to know is to move about, you can use your arrow keys. So I'm using my arrow keys now, not my mouse. I'm going to the right, down, 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 left, 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 up, 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 using arrow keys. But also, you can use some other key to jump further. That is, you could go to the top of the file or the end of the file. To go to the top of the file, you can press the home button on your keyboard. Home button on your keyboard, or you use the end button on your keyboard. So it goes to the end of the line. Actually, I think this is an error, so let me just change it here. So to see it in action properly, let's try it with these smaller lines. So I'm going home, end. So home takes you to the first part of the starting of the line, and end takes you to the ending of the line. Also, you have some very pretty quick navigation. Instead of using your mouse, you can go to the beginning of the line using Control A. So Control A, the same thing as home. Can you see that? Control A is the same thing as home. Control A and Control E takes you to the end of the line. Control A takes you to the beginning of the line. Control A takes you to the beginning of the line. Control E takes you to the end of the line. So also, let's try this other command here too. So we have alternate angle brackets. So the first one is alternate So we were pretty correct. Let me just change this, please. End of file and top of file. So home should be here and end should be here. So we don't need those there anymore. Those guys pretty much do what they need to do. So let me recap it. To go to the top of the file, see I have my cursor in the middle. We can use escape angle brackets or alternate angle brackets. So let's try that. And you see we are at the top of the file. Just watch the cursor. And if I want to come to the bottom of the file or the end of the file, I use M greater than. So let me do that. And you see we are at the end of the file. To go to the top of the file, M less than greater than. Then the next one is the beginning of a line, which I was doing previously. sorry about the error, you use Ctrl A to go to the start of the line and Ctrl E to go to the end of the line. You can also use the home button to go to the start of the line and use the end button to go to the end of the line. Also, you can go forward by one character by using Ctrl F. See? Ctrl F, but you could pretty much do this with your keyboard too. Go back one character, Ctrl B, Ctrl B. You can also do this by the left key on your arrow button. Also, we can move by lines. To go to the next line, you use Ctrl N. Can you see? I'm moving by line. I'm actually using Ctrl N. To go to the previous line, we use Ctrl P. So I'm moving up with Ctrl P, but you could also do this with the up arrow button and Ctrl N to come down, or you can use the down arrow button. Same as this up here. The next one is still on navigation. We could forward the screen. So because of this scroll bar, let's see what that means. Ctrl V. Can you see what happens with the scroll bar? Watch the scroll bar. Let me scroll upward again. Watch the scroll bar. So when I press Ctrl V, it moves down. Ctrl V, it moves down. So what it does is it moves the screen for us in chunk. What if you are at the bottom of the page and you want to go backward? You use Escape V, Escape V. So that's the opposite of Ctrl V. Also, you can move by words. To move forward by one word, you use Escape F. Can you see? Escape F, Escape F, Escape F, Escape F. And to move backward by one word, you use Escape B, Escape B, Escape B. The next thing you need to learn, with EMACS, you can split your screen horizontally and vertically. So let's split this screen horizontally. Ctrl X 2. You see, my screen has been split into two. I can also further split this screen up here vertically. Ctrl X 3. You see? Now 2 pages. Now you can close a window. Let me close this one at the bottom. To close a window, you use Ctrl X 0. So Ctrl X 0. And you see, I only have my vertical split left. Let me close this screen by this side, by the right hand side. So we are left with the normal one. Ctrl 0. You see? We are back to our former document. Also, let's assume that you've split your screen previously. Ctrl 3. Ctrl X. You can go back automatically by using Ctrl X1. You see, we are back to our normal screen. Also, the sweet thing about EMACS is that you can open a shell screen right here. Like in EMACS, you also have a terminal. So to access the terminal on EMACS, all you need to do is Escape X and type shell. And you see, we have a shell terminal already in EMACS. And let's see if we can do our normal shell commands. So I'm doing LX, and as you can see, it's working. So let's exit out of it because that's not why we are here. But I just want you to know that you can open a shell, a terminal page inside of EMACS. So exit, and we can close the page using Ctrl X 0. We are pretty much at the end of this training. So nobody is an island and you may always need help, right? So to find help, you can view the EMACS tutorial by Ctrl H and T. And this is the tutorial. So all you need to do is just to sit and start reading and taking actions with them. This tutorial is going to teach you everything you need to know about EMACS, and you can access it using Ctrl H and T. Also, you can get information using Ctrl H and I. Ctrl H, I. See? Here, there are lots of information in the man style. You can click on any of these to understand what it says, but I'm not going to do that because that is not the concept of this training. but you can do all this on your own. Basically, these are like shell commands that you can practice inside of EMACS, and you just scroll through to understand what you can understand or what you can read from here. So, but I just want you to know that you have this inside of EMACS. You can also get a list of commands using Ctrl H and B. And see, it's showing you all the commands and binding in EMACS. So let me close this one at the top so that you can see this. So these are all the controls, all the commands in EMACS and the bindings. So you see that you don't need to put everything in memory. You just need to know the important ones that you would always use, like I've shown you already on this document. So everything you would always need to use mostly are already here. But if you want to learn more, just press Ctrl H and B, and it will show you a lot of other stuffs and commands that you can use. The next thing you can check is, what mode am I in? You use Ctrl H and M. It shows you the mode that you are in. You see, enabled minor mode, and you can make a lot of changes to anything you want to do right here. The last but not the least is help itself. But I want you to notice something. For everything that has to do with help in EMACS, it has to start with Ctrl H, which you can see already. So the last one is Ctrl H, and it opens the help document. So let me close the list of command document up there. So see, this is the help in EMACS, and it shows you everything you need to understand about the patterns and the key bindings. So all you need to do is just read up on all this, and it gives you more command on how to get information about EMACS, info about EMACS. You know, just read it all through. But most of the time, I believe you will spend most of your time in Ctrl H T, which is the tutorial, because actually you would find this very useful, the EMACS tutorial. So that is that, and run through this. I'm going to put this file, or I'm going to copy all these tests and put them in the description of this video so that you can practice on your own. Just watch the videos if you're confused about anything that I've done, and you can drop a comment for me and I will respond. So that is all on EMACS command. I believe that this video was very, very useful for you. Cheers. Precious out. Thank you for being here. So let's use the last command on EMACS to exit, and that is Ctrl X and Ctrl C. Asking me to save the file. No, I don't want to save. No. Oh, something skipped there. Ctrl X and Ctrl C. And that is it. We are out of EMACS. So let me clear my terminal. And exit. I'll see you in the next video. Thumbs up.